You're going to install your new window in that original opening. You now have a new frame and a new set of sash, or a sash if it's a casement window. Everything's new in the original opening. Okay? You're probably going to get new casing with that new window. It's kind of like you go out and buy a new suit. You're going to buy a new suit, ladies. You're going to go out and buy a new pantsuit or a new outfit. What are you going to buy with it? You know you're going to buy a new purse or shoes. Guys are going to buy a new tie. You're going to put a new window in. You know, you probably want new casing because it might not be the exact same color. Okay. Now this gentleman was asking about the original cladding on the exterior. You see a term up there called capping. Okay, this is a term we use in the window industry, and essentially it means if you have any wood trim on the outside after I put that new window in, I'm probably going to cover that. Especially if there's a brick mold, which was part of the old window that I might leave there. And that's basically a trim piece of the old window that might still be there. Probably going to take that brick mold out as well, but sometimes it's not attached to the window, it's a trim piece that the builder or somebody put on. Okay, so what are the pros and cons? You're going to get the same size as the original window. Your entire old window is gone. Not just part of it, the whole thing's gone. You're going to get new casing. You're going to get charged for it. It's part of the window installation. But you're going to get new casing to match the new window. You also have the opportunity, a better opportunity, to change the configuration of the opening. If you had one window, you could maybe put two. If you had four, you could go to three or two. It's difficult to do that when you do a pocket. In a full frame, you pretty much can do whatever you want, with some limitations. All right. And you also can insulate the original opening. We've got about 5 more minutes. We're doing good on time, so I want to save some time for questions. All right, so what are the cons? Well, cons are costly. Pretty typical, right? In most things. You're going to buy the higher energy, high efficiency furnace. If you're going to get your floor installed and then they sand it and do all that right in the home, depending on the installation, it's going to be more expensive. Is the window more expensive? This is the funny part. Okay? Generally not. Generally not. Especially in a wood window, more often times it costs more to do a pocket from the cost of the window unit itself. All right? But the installation is less when you do a pocket. So here's the bottom line. Again, remember, I'm Switzerland. I'm not advocating for any window company or any installation. But I would tell you, if you can afford to do it, and your home construction allows you to do it, and your time frame allows you to do it, do a full frame replacement. No matter what window you put in there, that's the best way to go. Are there exceptions? Yes, there are 2 key exceptions. If you have a house built in the 1920s, anybody have one of those? Okay. If you go to the North Shore, you go to Winnetka, Wilmette, some of those homes, you might have 5 or 6 trim pieces on a window, and you're not going to be able to replicate those. And if your contractor breaks one, he is going to be really unhappy guy, because he's not going to be able to replace it. So in those cases, you might want to leave the existing window frame there if it's in sound condition, and do a pocket replacement instead of a full frame. The other time is if you have plaster walls. Anybody have plaster walls? Okay. If you have plaster walls, it's not to say that you can't do a full frame replacement. But there is more involved in removing that window. And sometimes you might even have a steel window in that plastic wall. So again, some differences with the installation based on the home construction. All right. Any questions there? Yes. What I talked about? Okay, great question. The question was double hungs or the other styles of windows, which are the easiest to clean? Today's windows, you're going to get a tilt feature in just about every double hung from any manufacturer you buy today. Whether the little clips are different or how you tilt it in, they're all going to tilt in. The casement windows that turn out like this, the manufacturers have now moved the pivot point away from the edge of the window into the opening a little bit so you can get your arm out there. So the real answer is all the contemporary windows are easy to clean. Okay? Now the funny part about that is most people don't clean their own windows. So, but all the windows styles that you buy today are going to be easy to clean. So does that answer your question? Go ahead. Yes. Generally speaking, I won't even say that. A bow, let me explain to you the difference between a bow and a bay, just so you know it, okay? One is angles. So if you have three windows with an angle, so you have a hard corner, that's going to be a bay, okay? A bow is a radius. So you put window, 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 and it's an easy radius. Does that make sense to you? Okay? All right, we have a couple of more minutes. I want to make sure I cover all of this for you. You were asking me about double hungs, and it made me think of something. I'll come back to that. We had another question. Go ahead. Okay, we're going to cover that. What should we expect to pay for a house or a window? Okay. We're going to talk about that right now, actually. I have thought about double hungs. I can't remember what that was. It may hit me. Okay, so how do I know what I should pay for windows? How much does it cost? As you can imagine, I'm not trying to avoid it, I'm trying to answer you as best I can. The reason why this is difficult is because every home is different. Every home has a different number of windows, different style windows. Style. Okay, quick question. Why do I go with a double hung versus a casement? What's the difference? The answer to that is the style of the home pretty much dictates what type of windows you have. If you have a colonial style home or a ranch style home, you probably have doubles. If you have a Tudor, a two-story Tudor, or a Tudor-looking ranch, you probably have casements. Which one's more energy efficient? The answer to that is, generally speaking, almost all windows, manufacturer to manufacturer, casements are more energy efficient. Why? Because there's one sash sealing against the frame. When you have a double hung, you have two sash. They need to seal against the frame and they need to seal against each other. Okay? All right. Let's stay with cost so we have some time for more questions. All right. So, it will vary by the number of windows, your personal needs. Do you want to change the openings? The products you choose, whether it's wood, vinyl, fiberglass, the installation method you choose, that will change the cost. The size of the job. Right now, a lot of contractors are talking about replacing 5 windows or 4 windows in your home. You can do that. It's kind of like carpeting. You don't need to replace the carpeting in your home, the whole home. Just understand that with every installation, be it carpeting, or siding, or cabinets, anytime a contractor has to come to your house, that's a cost. If he comes to your house one time and does all of your windows, you're probably going to save some money. So just like when you go to the store and you buy a gallon of milk versus a quart, the larger the job, typically, it's going to cost you less per window per door. Not always, but that's some leverage you have. Okay, so let's take this now. I'm going to ask you to give me the price range of a new car. So let's start at the low end. What's the least expensive new car we can buy today? How much do you think that costs? Yesterday a fellow said 14,000. 12,000. Okay. What's the high end of a cost? If you asked me how much does a new car cost, you came from Mars, and you asked me how much does a new car cost, I'd say, okay, 12,000. Should we go to 50? 65? I'm going to say probably 85. 75 to 85. So we've got a range of 12 to 75. They're all cars. They'll all get you to the grocery store. They'll all take your kids to school. But one's $75,000, one's 12. What's the difference? The product. What you're going to do with it, and the performance. And the same is true in windows. Okay? So styles, types, features, things you add on, the color hardware you want, buttons, grills. Okay. So, here's what I would tell you. Think of this, if you're talking about a whole house full of windows, you can almost equate this to a car. A little bit less than a new car, but if you have a smaller home and you put vinyl windows in and you